Good evening, everybody. Happy Tuesday. Welcome to Dan United. Summer exits already in full flow, but are INEOS fucking skint? Good evening. We were coming on tonight to talk about summer exits planned, and then news come about an hour ago that Manchester United all seem well. Everything seems fine. There was so much positivity. We've made a profit. Everything's good. This is all because of the harsh decisions we've had to make. And did a bit of look. You got to do a bit of soul searching with this, because you can be stupid and sit there and go, wow, we're back. We're back in the bid time. Or you can actually look at it for what it is and go, hang on a minute. The maths ain't mathing. And yeah, there's a lot we've got to talk about with that. Now, we have got transfer news, we have got exit news, but ultimately at the start of it, I really wanted to dive in to just what the news was tonight and just what trouble INEOS are actually in. Sir Jim has obviously pulverised opinions over the past couple of weeks with his comments, and do you know what? His tenure here hasn't been great. It hasn't. In fact, I think there's more negatives than positives. Well, there's definitely more negatives than positives. The negatives outweigh the positives. The negatives are like the top of the Titanic. The positives are already sinking down to the bottom of the ocean. So there's a lot to discuss tonight. And after such a positive show last night, and after such positivity after the Everton score, I kind of feel like with the Manchester United machine rolling on at the moment and us looking more and more likely like we're getting Champions League, it has to be spoke about. We have to discuss it because, look, we are a community. And if we were to be blinded by the fact that the team's doing well on the pitch and think everything's hunky-dory, well then when the stuff comes and the shit hits the fan, that's where we as fans, we as a community go, hang on a minute, I thought everything was okay. So I really wanted to take tonight to go through the transfer news, but also to go through what was spoken about today. Now, I hope everyone's had a fantastic Tuesday. Tuesday is the worst. It's Wednesday. What the hell am I talking about? It's fucking Wednesday. Get that off the edit. Wednesday, man. Honestly, my head's blown. That's what work does to you, though. I hope everyone's having a great week. We've got stuff to go through tonight, and I think it's stuff that needs to be spoken about. So let's go straight into it. Look, this man here, Barada. Barada's a happy boy. He's a happy boy. And do you know something? We only seem to hear off this guy when things are going well. This guy come in with such promise, such high praise, and I was one of them. When he come, I went, hang on. Look what he did to Man City. This is great news. We're bringing in a guy who knows exactly what the hell he's talking about. He's been part of a successful outlet. I mean, look, with the charges, that remains up for discussion itself at the moment. But ultimately, we're bringing a guy in who knows what he's doing and wants to be a part of getting Manchester United back to where we all think they should be, which is back at the top of the Premier League, back winning Premier League titles, back challenging for Champions Leagues, not just being a part of them like that bloody kid in year 3 who's never won a race in his life, but still every year at Sports Day dusts himself down and gets in the egg and spoon race, even though he knows he's going to lose horrendously. And this is what it's all about today. So the finances. Now, Omar, in fact, let me move the badge. Get the badge in. I've heard that before. Get the badge in. Get the badge in. And we'll remove the banner a second. So CEO Omar Barada says the club's latest financial results highlight the success of their off-pitch transformation. Fuck it, that is lol straight away. That is lol straight away. Like that's the start of the joke, isn't it? In fiscal Q2 2026, ending on the 31st of December, operating profit jumped to 19.5 million from 3.1 a year earlier. Despite no European football and early cup exits, total revenue fell 4.2%, which we knew that was going to happen because the fact of the matter is we don't play football anymore. We play once a week. We're basically Sunday league. Cost cuts, especially from prior headcount reductions, including 450 jobs, drove the improvement, lowering employee expenses and overall costs, operating costs. Now, look, this, on the face of it, you go, wow, money's up. Get the champagne out. Let's get the champagne. Let's get the cigars. It's celebration time, bitches. It isn't something to celebrate, guys. It absolutely isn't. And the reason it isn't, and I don't want to be the bearer of bad news with this, because on the face of it, we should be happy that we're making more money. But the overriding fact here is, it is right there where it says cost cuts. That is why we have saved money, because Sir Jim come in with INEOS and they went, everyone, you're fired. You're fired. They did their best Alan Sugar impression. They got rid of the lot. They cleared house. And with that, what's going to happen? You're going to save money. If someone come and bought the company I work for tomorrow, if somebody come and did that tomorrow, you can guarantee they'd probably come in and say, right, we're getting rid of you. That would save money over the year. This isn't a great big fucking pile of positivity. This is a humdinger piece of shit. Now, if we delve further into it, this is what worries me. Okay? This is what worries me. And it's this here. So this is from the Guardian Sport, and it says INEOS, owned by billionaire Sir Jim Ratcliffe, is talking about selling some parts of its business, especially from its Innovin Vinyls PVC unit, to raise money. The company has over 18 billion in debt, which grew by 3 billion last year, and the chemicals industry is struggling badly due to high energy prices, cheap imports from Asia and the Middle East, and expensive European carbon taxes. Now look, the company recently got 175 million from shareholders and 260 more in financing, and is focusing on cutting costs and staying stable rather than growing. Now this, to me, if this doesn't worry you, I don't know what will, because that twat there he is. That twat there, who probably can't even wipe his own arse at the moment, bought into the club. And with it, he come in and he said, I'm a local boy and I'm going to change the fortunes. What he didn't tell us is he was coming in with debt himself. And Manchester United are riddled with debt. Only Manchester United, only this football club, only this club here, only this club would allow someone to come in with shit like this sticking around them. And yes, you can say, well, it's with the company, it's not him himself, but INEOS are what it is. So it scares me. It absolutely scares me, because we're all riding on the wave of emotions at the moment. Carrick's at the wheel, give him the job full time. We're flying into the Champions League. Listen, Goldbridge said this, and I don't agree with him very often, you know that. United need the Champions League. Like now, more than ever, Champions League is an absolute must. Now, look, in an ideal world, what we do is we go, do you know what? It doesn't matter, because if they fail, it's fine. It's absolutely fine, because someone else will come and buy us. But at the moment, the Glazers are not showing any signs of wanting to sell. Sir Jim, shaking like a shitting dog, doesn't want to sell. He still believes that he's the big part of the future. This is the same bloke who wants to borrow billions off the government, wants help from the government to build our new stadium that is going to revolutionise Manchester United. It's going to turn us back into a powerhouse. It's going to push us back to the top of the table. Credit agencies have downgraded INEOS and warned it must reduce debt quickly. Fucking hell. Honestly, this club, we can't have like a short time of enjoying this club and feeling like we're moving 2 steps forward, because unfortunately the bozos that work in the background who own the club like to throw us 27 steps backwards. We should have got a full sale, man. We should have got a full sale. INEOS should be nowhere near this club. They never should have. They never ever should have been near this club. The Glazers should have done the right thing and full sold, but unfortunately the Glazers were in civil war. 2 of them wanted to stay. Joel and I think is it Avram? They wanted to stay because they believed that they had a connection with the club and with the fans. It's bad. It's so bad. And look, I'm going to bring this up as well because I think it's important to go through this. Manchester United owe a significant amount in remaining transfer instalments. So not on top of the debt that we owe. This is what we owe other than that. 509 million, with the vast majority relating to outstanding transfer fee payments to other clubs. This figure is consistently reported across sources like the BBC, the Telegraph and club announcements as the primary component of these liabilities. Earlier analysis shows that apparently 324 million of it is due before September. Fucking hell. I mean, the club's overall debt has risen to approximately 1.29 billion. including legacy Glazer era debt of 481 million. Revolving credit facility drawdowns of 295 million and the above transfer payables. This has increased due to the transfers that we've brought in. Like when do we get a break? I'll come up to the other news in a second. Let me just come back to this. Like, when do Manchester United get a break? And more to the point, you know, how the fucking hell is this club allowed to run? Like, how as a club are we allowed to run? How are we allowed to buy players? How are we able to run? And then you've got bozos like Sir Jim telling us that the good times are coming back. I've made some hard decisions. How does he sleep? I wouldn't be able to sleep at night with that amount of debt around us. I'm feeling low with it. I'm feeling low because, look, this is a time of the year now where we should be talking about. I think YouTube is having a mare. To be fair, wahaha. I think YouTube is having a mare. It's been doing it for a while. Let me just check a second. Yeah, YouTube's having a mare. YouTube comments. Yeah, I don't know why it's doing it. If you keep trying, we'll get there. I promise. If I see your comments, I'll read them out as always. Don't worry. I don't know why that's on there. We need to get rid of Sam's United People's TV there. So look, this is where we're at, and it's frustrating. It's upsetting because, as I was just about to say, Manchester United obviously wanting to sign players this summer. We were looking at being heavily reliant on making money through transfers, but we owe money still to transfers. You've got the likes of Rasmus, and I'll go through Rasmus and Marcus Rashford in a bit. Marcus Rashford's the only one that still represents pure profit for us because he is a homegrown player. I think we're in more trouble than we've ever realised. I think we're in more trouble than we've ever realised, and you know, we've got so many players that we need to be bringing in. We've got so many players that should be coming in and helping us off the back of what is looking like a Champions League season that we're going to qualify. Now, look, Manchester United might go out there and somehow spend 300 million in the summer. They might do it. But the longer this rolls on, you just have to ask yourself the question, how much longer can we go on with an ownership that is in debt? How much longer can we go on with an ownership that doesn't put money into the club? How much longer can Manchester United go on without finally some sanction being brought into place that means that clubs like Manchester United who operate on debt can no longer do what they used to do? It's coming, I think. Honestly, I think it's coming sooner than people realise. I genuinely do. I've done that one. Look, I don't want to dwell on it. I don't want to dwell on these on the debt of the club. It's something that we do need to keep in the back of our minds. We absolutely need to keep in the back of our minds, and I think for us to not think it's happening would be very, 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 very wrong. It would be very, 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 very wrong. Wahaha. All I'll do is, as soon as I see a comment, I'll put it up, mate. Evening, Carl. Good to see you. Good to see you, Paul. Shareholders first, team second, says Chappie. Ultimately, the debt is down to the Glazers. If they sold the club, the debt would be gone. They would, but Carl, this is the thing. Manchester United, the ownership model, do not want to sell. Because, like I said before, you've got two twats in America. Who are the Glazers, who think they have an affinity to our club. It's the biggest bunch of nonsense I've ever heard. Then you've got Sir Jim, who doesn't have a clue what he's doing. Sir Jim wouldn't know what a football club was or how to run it if it walked up to him, bared its breasts and rubbed it in his face. He just wouldn't. He'd do what he does now. And this is the problem. And I want to be positive, and there are positive news bits, because there are players that are leaving the club that we'll go through in a minute. But I just, as a fan base, I want you all to do yourselves a favour here, because I'm doing the same thing. I don't want you to get bought in by the nonsense that everything's okay, that we're just sailing off into the sunset, that we've made 32, 33 million pounds, everything's sunshine and rainbows. It is not. Champions League for Manchester United is an absolute must. We don't get Champions League football, the match day revenue drops still. We don't get the income from competitions. Manchester United could find themselves in a massive spot of bother. Massive, massive spot of bother. And I, for one, don't want to see that. I don't. None of us do. None of us. Let's go to the news anyway. Look, the news coming out today that Bayındır is looking more and more likely to be leaving the club. And Beşiktaş have come to an agreement apparently regarding the transfer of Bayındır for 4.3 million. Bayındır will join the Turkish club as soon as the transfer window opens. Now, do you know something? This is different to last season already. This is different to last season, and I will praise United for this, because last season we knew getting into April time that there was going to be a group of players that Manchester United didn't want him anywhere near the club. No longer wanted him anywhere near the club. This is the start of something beautiful. This is the start of something beautiful. This is the start of us going, right, you're not going to be playing for this club anymore. Off you go. I always knew he'd go back to Beşiktaş. I knew he'd go back to Turkey because he ain't good enough for the Premier League. I mean, that face. Look at the fucking face he's pulling there. That is the face of a goalkeeper that doesn't want to look at a shot. Doesn't want to come for a cross. Doesn't want to try and bring the ball out from the back because he can't do so. Great news that the fact that Beşiktaş has decided to end the nightmare for us. Absolutely brilliant. The other news today coming out is this one here. Rashi. So Rashi on Barcelona exit ramp despite agreement as Man United stance sets up the most likely outcome. Manchester United have made no... They've not tried to hide it at all. We've not tried to hide the fact that Manchester United and Marcus Rashford's marriage is over. And when Carrick took over, there were some of us out there, bless our hearts, that went, do you know what? He likes Carrick. This might be the redemption arc. We might be able to bring the boy back. We might be able to see prime Rashford running down the wing, cutting inside, smashing the ball into the bottom corner. That's over. That is over. The marriage is over. Like me and Kelly Bowkett in year 6 when she dumped me to blame it on the weatherman. The marriage is over. Manchester United are obviously going to try and make sure that Barcelona don't pony out the deal. We know that and we've spoken about that, so I'm not going to discredit you all and I'm not going to disrespect you all by going over old news. But the fact of the matter is Manchester United, 2 transfers looking more and more likely that they're done and dusted already. And this is music to my ears. The last thing that we ever wanted was to be on August the 31st and Marcus Rashford back at the club, training on his own because Barcelona wouldn't pay and us waiting for another deadline day loan deal. Because that's all it would have been. Clubs have found it too easy with Manchester United for so long to go, do you know what? We'll take him off you on loan. We ain't buying him because we haven't got the money to do that, but we'll pay his wages. And do you know what? We might keep him at the end of the season. We might just keep him at the end of the season. Manchester United making the right moves there, absolutely. Now this again, we go back to INEOS, and I feel like I'm bashing INEOS, but do you know something? They deserve it. So one of the reasons Casemiro is essentially going out the door, doesn't want to be here anymore, is because he felt disrespected by Sir Jim Ratcliffe's comment naming him as one of the 5 Manchester United players INEOS had just inherited. Now, you can bash INEOS for this, you can, but I think at the time when INEOS come in, I don't think this guy was performing anywhere near to the level that he can and has been. We were in the middle of the second season syndrome with Casemiro, where he come in, he looked a bit leggy, looked overweight, his form had just been destroyed. The football had left him, to coin the Jamie Carragher phrase. But what we didn't realise and what Sir Jim didn't anticipate was that Casemiro wasn't going to sit there and just take a wage and just dissolve into obscurity. No. He got himself back to where he needed to be. And I've got to credit him. He's my player of the season so far. I think he's been incredible. But it's just INEOS again. It's their name being mentioned with players, isn't it? It's their name being mentioned with what's happening, and it bores me. Now, Casemiro, the news coming out today is that he is not done in Europe. And there are clubs like AC Milan who are looking at taking him on a free transfer. And do you know what? Good luck to him. I want the guy to go and enjoy himself. I think he's given a lot to us this season. Regardless of the fact we haven't played many games, there are not many games that I can think of Casemiro having a terrible game. He has been the person breaking play up and sorting shit out. And I think it's credit to him. Absolutely credit to him. I don't know why if you're trying to... let me try something on the comments. Let me try something. Hang on a second. Let me take off the... Let me put it onto anyone and save that. Right, try and comment now, guys. Send a couple of comments through and see if they come through. I've just changed the settings ever so slightly. Let me know if that works. Ben, I can see your comment come through, bud. I've seen your comment come through straight away. I've turned off subscribers, so just... Cheers, Ben. Dan stinks. I love that. It looks like the comments are back on, people. I should block you for that, Ben, you bugger. In fact, yeah, mate. It's happening on every channel. Wahaha's back. The comments are coming. Get your comments in. Get your... Dan the Angry Man. Look at that. There we go. We're back. Ben McLean laughing. There you go. Not stinky now. I just fucking swallowed half of that. This is better because I've got you commenting now. I can see what people are trying to think. Guys, get your comments in. Let me know what you're thinking about what we've just been discussing. I'm happy to go back and go through it with you. Now, look, as I say, Casemiro out the door. Now, the reason I've done it like this is because we're doing this in sections. Malasia's contract is up at the end of the season. I can see you. Oh, third attempt, fair enough. Malasia's contract's up at the end of the season. The reason I'm putting this, trust me, there is a reason for why I'm doing this, okay? There is a reason for why I'm doing this. And then also we've got this boy here. We've got Marcus Rashford. We've got Rasmus Højlund. Rasmus Højlund, who's now officially, I believe, as long as Napoli qualify for the Champions League, is going to bank us 38 million. Now, we could celebrate about that 38 million and say, woohoo! We can put it towards transfers. But the reality is, with that 38 million... It ain't going to go anywhere. That's going to go back on what we fucking owed for him. Because remember, we bought him in for 60 million. So I'm not going to get too excited. But what I will say with this is where we're not getting the transfer fees in, it will free up the wage bill. It will. I looked at something earlier on today. I don't know if I can bring it up and share it with you because I'm using OBS at the moment. Let me just see if it comes up. Ah, it does. Perfect. Let me bring this onto screen. Someone busy says, I can't prove this, but Malacia just joined United for the medical services. Fucking hell, he's got enough out of us, hasn't he? Fucking hell, has he got enough out of us? Let me share this onto the screen. I wanna bring this on. Where are we? Share screen. So this, I just put this into Grok before. Don't worry, I'll zoom it in. This is what the wages are with Manchester United and the players that we're discussing tonight. Now, Sancho, 200 grand a week. We know he's off. We know he's going. That's fine. Marcus Rashford, roughly about 300 grand a week. Casemiro, 350 grand a week. Then you've got Malacia on 75 grand a week. Xerxes on 105 grand a week. Manuel Ugarte on 120 grand a week. The reason I'm bringing this into play, guys, is simple. Manchester United have needed to get rid of this horrible wage bill for so long, and they have done. We're one of the, I think we've dropped to like 8th in the table of highest paid wages, maybe 9th. You're seeing teams like Arsenal who are splashing money on Saka's brand new contract. By the way, Arsenal, everyone laugh at Arsenal. I found out the other day they're paying nearly 300 grand a week for Gabriel Jesus. That is absolutely fucking criminal on its own. But Manchester United, with us trying to revamp this team and with us trying to sort out players that are going to come in and change the way we play, in doing that, we have had to do a lot of movement. Let me just get rid of Rasmus. He's making me feel sick. You're making me feel sick, son. You're making me feel sick. We are having to do a lot of movement. We're having to try and fiddle a few things here. Ultimately, getting these players off the books is going to help us massively. As I said to you before, regardless of the money worries that Manchester United seem to be looking like they're under at the moment, there is a potential here that Manchester United still have that ace up the sleeve, and with Champions League football, they will be able to bring the players into the team that are going to better us. Because with the financial difficulties, let me just say this. Manchester United cannot just afford to qualify for the Champions League for one season and go, we did it, we played it, we got some cash, we'll think about next season at another time. Manchester United this summer need to go into this summer doing the right thing, which is not just planning for the Champions League next season, but planning to be in it for the foreseeable. Never dropping down into the Europa League, never dropping down into the Conference League, never dropping out of Europe again. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do to lock this shit down. Now, there is a player that I didn't mention. There is a player that, bless his cotton socks, doesn't want to leave the club. Doesn't want to leave the club, man. And here he is. This just warm. I'm going to be honest with you. I hate him. I don't hate him. I don't know him very well. Don't know him at all. But this just warms my cotton socks, this does. Andre Onana wants to fight to re-establish himself as United's #1 goalkeeper when his loan at Trabzonspor finishes in May, and believes he will be given a chance to do so. Now, the only way I think this bozo thinks he's playing for United again is he must still think that Ten Hag's manager of Manchester United. He must have forgot that it was Amorim for a while and Amorim got sacked. It's as simple as that. This guy is on, let me just check, I swear he's on 150 grand a week. I swear he is. Hang on. Is Onana on at United? Hang on, let's have a look. 120 grand a fucking week. 120 grand a week for him. 120 grand a week. There is no chance in hell this guy is staying at Manchester United. He will be he will be gone. Michael Carrick, I think personally, will now be especially with the money issues, I think Michael Carrick will be the manager of Manchester United. I think that's pretty certain. Michael Carrick will have nightmares quite like someone busy is. Michael Carrick will have nightmares at the thought of setting up with that guy in goal. And in what planet does Onana, after watching what Lemmy, the ace of saves, has been doing this season, at what point does he watch on telly and go, I could do that. I could do better than that. See how he's just claimed that cross with 107 people around him. I can do that. I did it against Wolves. So Onana, for me, again, is another person that should be on the chopping board. And I think we should be looking at Saudi, hopefully, to do us a massive favour and saying, here, take him away. We're going to have to cut a loss. We are going to have to cut our losses. Well, haha, I'm sorry, mate, that you can't get your comments on. And chat, look, again, I apologise that you can't get your comments on tonight. I don't know what YouTube's doing. Apparently, it's not just here. It's happening everywhere. So I apologise that you can't get your comments on, because this is what's so good about this community is we taught this through. We absolutely taught this through. And look, I can only apologise. It's a YouTube thing. If it was up to me, it'd be different. But it's not. So we have to just deal with what we've got here. Some of you are probably screaming at the screen telling me to shut the fuck up because what I'm saying is wrong. But it is what it is. It is what it is. Hopefully they'll sort it out. Playing for Andre Onana. I'm not fully decided about Maguire myself, says Carl. Are the comments coming back through again now? I think they might be coming back through again. Do you know something though, Carl? I've got this idea. Let me go back to the other angle. I've got this idea about the Maguire situation now. If we're as skint as we say we are, maybe Maguire staying on for a couple of years isn't a bad shout, because people are absolutely creaming in their pants at the thought of this man coming to Manchester United. He ain't coming to United, chat. I can sit here and say that with absolute confidence. Fabrizio Romano has said it himself. There are currently no concrete talks between Mickey van der Ven and Manchester United. The club admire him as one of the league's top defenders, but nothing is progressing at this stage. United's priority remains strengthening the midfield. Now, look, ideal world, Spurs get relegated. That's a beautiful thought. Spurs get relegated, and then players like this go out on the cheap. The issue with it is simple. Manchester United would not be at the front of the queue to sign Van der Ven. They wouldn't. He would most likely go somewhere like Liverpool. I think he'd go abroad, maybe go Barca, Real Madrid. There are plenty of big clubs, maybe Bayern Munich. There are plenty of big clubs who are in better positions than we are that would snap him up. Manchester United would absolutely want him. They do admire him. Who wouldn't? He's a left-footed centre-back. Imagine this lad in the team. Imagine how different that defence looks with him bombing forward. We've seen him do it. He's so quick and adaptable. He looks so confident when he brings the ball out from the back. He can pass the ball. This guy would be a dream signing. Of course he would. I've sat here plenty of times and said defence isn't the problem. However, if this guy becomes available and you've already sorted the midfield out, then of course you go and get him. Of course you bang the door down. You say, in you come, Mickey. Of course you do. But I just think with where Manchester United are and where we're structured to be looking for players at the moment, this ain't where we should be looking. If he comes available, different story. It might come to a point where in the summer he turns around and says, do you know what? I don't know what the fuck I'm doing at Spurs. Yeah, I won the Europa League, but I'm in a team that's finished 17th and looks like it's going to be finishing a maximum of 16th this season. I don't want to be here anymore. If he doesn't want to be there anymore and there's conversations to be had, absolutely United will be in there. They will be looking. But if they don't get relegated, this guy is not going to cost 40, 50 million. You are going to be looking at 70, 80, 90 million. You're not going to get this guy on the cheap unless there's a relegation. If there's a relegation, then you absolutely will be able to get him on the cheap because he won't want to play in the Championship. Players will go on strike at Spurs. We know Spurs are hard to negotiate with, but ultimately, what do Spurs want? Do they want players on the wage budget who aren't playing, or do they want money to reinvest and try and bring the club back up? This is worst case scenario, by the way. So I just kind of wanted to speak about Mickey. I'd love Mickey. I would. Mickey, I love you. I love you. In fact, you know what? I'll tell you what I'm doing tonight. It's out. It's out because my beautiful Brian Brigade, we have such fantastic conversations. We ain't been able to talk tonight, so fucking YouTube. YouTube are in the book. YouTube are in the book. And if there's a little spam botty robot that's listening into what we're saying, YouTube, fuck you, because you've completely ruined it tonight for people who wanted to comment. This was going to be a good show tonight for people to have a chat about the finances and about the players that were outgoing. And at the moment, poor out Wahaha's trying 5 or 6 times to get a comment in. I reckon Kev's bugged it. I reckon Kev's done something to it. Now, the next news I wanted to talk about was Morgan Gibbs-White. So Chris Wheeler and Nathan Salt. This one's starting to pick up quite quickly and it's terrifying me, I'll be honest with you. Let me have my say about Morgan's Gibbs-White. You ask a Nottingham Forest fan what they think about Gibbs-White. Well, Wolfie already calls him Gibbs-Shite. He was buzzing at the thought of Spurs taking him last season, at the start of this season. He was buzzing at the thought of maybe City taking him. Now, Manchester City are apparently interested in him and Elliot Anderson, which we'll move on to in a second. I don't think this guy's it for us, chap. I don't think this guy's it. When I think of Morgan Gibbs-White, I don't sit there and go out and get me Morgan Gibbs-White. That is going to change the way we look completely. Because where does Morgan Gibbs-White predominantly play? He is an attacking midfielder. You can play him in the centre of midfield. You can do. But ultimately, he is more that 10. He likes to push forward and do bits, doesn't he? He ain't displacing Bruno. And let me say this for absolute fucking certain. If Manchester United even dared consider letting Bruno go at the end of the season and replacing him with him, they would have blood on their hands. It would be humongous, the backlash. I honestly think Manchester United fans would storm Carrington. I think Sir Jim would have to be put on fucking 24-hour watch. There's no version of this sentence that I'm about to say. Morgan Gibbs-White comes in to replace Bruno that works. There is no version on the planet, no version that sentence makes any sense. So for us to be linked with him, bring him in as a squad player. But if you're looking at Morgan Gibbs-White as a squad player, you are paying 60, 70 million again. Because Nottingham Forest don't need to sell. Marianakis has already proven he is a tough negotiator. He only wants the best money available. File this one under bullshit. Move away from it. Manchester United, distance yourself as quickly as you can. And then there's this one that keeps making the news rounds. And this keeps going. Now, up until a couple of weeks ago, I was sat on the 12th man. And I was talking to LB about it. And LB was saying, yeah, I think he's coming to us. Wolfie's here or there about it. The overriding feeling is that he's going to Man City. However, the feeling that has been coming about Elliot Anderson since December time is that Manchester United, the football club, the coaching staff, Vivell, Barada, Wilcox, Shitcox, are in love with him. They see this man as the man to come into this midfield and turn shit around. And look, he is the man that can come and do that. Elliot Anderson not only comes to United and improves us to being a consistent Champions League contender, but Elliot Anderson, along with a couple of other signings, maybe elevates Manchester United even further. Our biggest problem for so long has been that midfield. It has. We got rid of the absolute dross that was up front for us last season, and already this season we are seeing so much change in the way that we are playing, in the way that we are scoring goals. We are averaging so many more goals in games. We are averaging so many more shots in a game. The fluidity between the players is looking so much better. Dare I say, we have an incredible attacking prowess, and that's without Dorgu, who, let's be honest, a lot of us writ off last season. As it stands, Manchester United have the forward line to go into next season with an addition, get rid of Xerxes, bring in another player. They have the forward line to go and do something next season. What they're missing is that central midfield, and this guy here, Elliot Anderson, completely changes the outlook of Manchester United. He comes in and he solidifies. This guy can do it all. Can pass the ball. He is fantastic at getting into defensive positions. He does not mind getting stuck in. Pops up with a goal every now and then. His stats have gone up and up and up. I think people forget that he plays for Nottingham Forest sometimes. This guy is a shoo-in to start at the World Cup for England. Manchester United absolutely love this man, and I love him. I want him, of course I do. At the start of the season, we were all believers. We were all believers. But I think now we're starting to shift towards the Elliot Anderson hype. And I think maybe we're starting to dare to dream. And look, I'm not forgetting what I spoke about at the start of this video, guys. I'm not sat here saying, oh, we're going to go and spunk all the money, and we should do. If Manchester United can find a way financially to bring a player like this in and still strengthen with other squad players, then I'm all for it. I am all for it, because look, let's be honest, he will come in next season if we got him. He would come in and slot right next to Mainu. That's what he'd do. He would come in and slot there. Then all you're looking at is getting a couple more midfielders to bolster the squad. Ugarte will go. We know Ugarte will go. That'll make us a bit of money, albeit to pay off the fucking transfers that we already owe. Manchester United have a very good opportunity here to bring someone like this guy in and then bring some squad players to bolster. Because he's not going to play every game, is he? But I wouldn't be surprised if this here is the transfer story of the summer. Manchester United going toe-to-toe with Man City. We'll learn a lot, won't we? Does Elliot Anderson see himself as being the player to go in and completely unearth, is that the word? Oust Rodri from his position. Rodri, of course, has had some bad injuries and he's probably coming towards the end of his time at Man City. Does he see himself as the man to take that over? Or will he look at the Phillips transfer and go, do you know what? Phillips was meant to be the next big thing, and fuck me, he fell apart there. A lot of these players look at clubs like Man City and Chelsea and they go, I'm going to go there and I'm going to become better. And it doesn't always work out. I think Elliot Anderson at Manchester United does make more sense than going to City. I do, and I will say that. City fans will tell me I'm an arsehole and rival fans will tell me that I'm dreaming. But do you know what? I think Elliot Anderson has a bigger impact at Manchester United than he does at Manchester City. I think Elliot Anderson comes into this Manchester United side and galvanises what we have. I think he brings experience with him of the last couple of seasons of knowing that he sometimes has to be the player that drags his team through the games. I think his temperament is correct. I think his attitude is right. He's experienced playing in European football. He's now experienced playing for England for a whole World Cup qualifying campaign. If Manchester United want him, and if they really want him, like really, 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 really want him, then go out there and get it done. But I think what we're looking at is we're looking at now a stage where Manchester United, the ownership, the people behind the scenes, the money men, who are not so fucking money men, more funny men, I think we need to look at the finances and see where we actually are, because the last thing any of us want is us to go big this summer, bring all these players in, it fail miserably, and it fuck us financially. As I said, in a dream scenario, in an ordinary world, someone would come in and go, I'll buy United now. I've had enough of watching this. I'm coming in and I'm buying them. We're still in that situation where Sir Jim has to accept the offer. We're still in that stage where the Glazers can accept a large bid, and Sir Jim would have to just sell his shares with them. Manchester United at the moment, it's a weird one, chap. It's a weird one because I just kind of feel like something may be brewing. The Glazers won't want to be in bed with someone who's in as much debt as them. And do you know what? Look, they're a business and they're very good businessmen. They've got businesses all over the place. They may have been shit with us, but they've made money through businesses. They would have done their due diligence, surely, on INEOS. But I don't think anybody expected INEOS's problems to rise as quick and as fast as they have. Let me just bring it back up, the INEOS one. INEOS in trouble. Debt grew by 3 billion last year. That's the part owner of our club. His company is 18 billion in debt. How does that work in the modern day game? You wouldn't go out with a lad that you've just met, would you? You wouldn't go out with a lad and go, all right, Simon, I'm Dan. Yeah, nice to meet you. Yeah, what? Do I want to go out tonight? Yeah, I'll go out tonight. You wouldn't go out with him if you hadn't got any money, would you? You wouldn't go, Simon, have you got any money? No, I haven't. Oh, don't worry about it. We'll go out anyway. No, you wouldn't. You go, sorry, Si, but I'm going out with my mates because I'm not paying for your beers all night. We have the chance here. The ownership have the chance, and I'd be very surprised if the Glazers haven't looked into it themselves as to what interest is out there. You got to think about it. If Manchester United qualify for the Champions League, stocks will be high. They will be high. Manchester United will. They will be. I mean, they'd be an interesting buy for a lot of people. We seem to be getting things right on the pitch at the moment. I think you'd see a lot of interest. Of course you would. Anybody would be interested in signing Manchester United. So I think we watch this space with INEOS. I think we watch this space with the Glazers. I think ultimately we watch this space with what the club is and what we hope to achieve. But we'll leave it there. Look, guys, I'm sorry that you couldn't get your comments in tonight. I'm so sorry. As I say, and I'll say it again, this community is built on the fact that we go back and forth with each other and we have conversations. I don't know what the fuck INEOS. Don't know what the fuck YouTube are playing at tonight. I really don't. I really don't know what's going on with them for you not to be able to comment. But hopefully tomorrow we will have the comments back and you'll be able to comment on what we're talking about, because as I said, we absolutely, that's what we do. This is essentially like sitting in the pub with your mate, having a good old chat, and getting stuff off your chest. And unfortunately, you guys have not been able to do that. You guys have not been able to do that tonight, and that's a big part of what we do. What's this here? I'm just checking. Hang on. Is there any breaking news here? No, there's not. I thought there was a bit of news coming in. No, there's no news coming in. Thought we were getting something then. So guys, yeah, as I said, apologise completely. Hopefully it's back tomorrow. We can get the comments in and we can get back to doing what we do best, which is having a good conversation. If you're watching this on the playback, get your comments in on the video. I will, in fact, if anyone's watching, get your comments in afterwards and I'll answer as best I can. But other than that, I will see you all tomorrow night. Enjoy your Wednesday night. Dan United, Ota! Take care all.